Hi guys, Jason Duff here from Small Nation, and I am with two people that inspire me, Tony and Kandalyn Green from Tony and Kandalyn Green Photography. I've had a chance to know Kandalyn and her family for many years because her dad, Herb, was one of my mentors. And first kind of starting out, learning more about construction, Herb spent a lot of time with me teaching me about that, and I'm thankful for that. And of course, had a chance to meet Tony and just kind of be inspired by them as a couple with the way they live their life and also the way they run their business. And as you can imagine right now, like every other family in the country, they also have their kids at home. And so we may have some cameo appearances along the way with kids that are involved. But how are things, Tony? Like, give me kind of the update. What is kind of the state for you and Kandalyn in this current situation?
Things are going good. We're surviving at home. The kids are making things really interesting.
Atticus literally just dumped raisins all over his bed right now. I don't know how he got the raisins.
It's the trick, right? The raisin trick.
Please pick these up.
But yeah, we're making it through. We're, instead of going day at a time, we're going from moment to moment. Chopping down those little things that we have to do to make sure that, one, our business is staying on track, and two, making sure that we don't lose our minds in the process and that our kids are not getting neglected in the midst of it.
Or overstimulated. I feel like just being inside sometimes I'm like,
there's so much going on.
It seems like, to me, information is changing hour by hour, and there's just, I was talking with someone earlier today about the definition of trauma, where it's just like, wow, never thought that could happen, or would never, believe that I would read that headline in the news or be faced with making these critical decisions. How are you guys kind of managing that for yourself, for your business, just for life that may help other people?
Well, thankfully I'm married to Tony. So I'm the one who is like, oh my gosh, the world's ending. And then 30 seconds later, I'm like, oh, we're going to be fine. And then the next minute I'm like, we're all dying. The whole time he's like level-headed. I mean, 100%,
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm very much an extreme person, and praise God, Tony's not, because that would be really crazy. But he's kind of been like the strength for us and the business and for our family and the church. Just going from one second to the next, not really sure what's going to happen. He's just said, we're going to be fine. We've got this. We've been through harder times, and I know as a country, this is one of the hardest times we've been through. I would put it right up there with when we went through 9/11. We were in high school together. And so that was also something we were completely shocked by, didn't know what was going to happen. But at the same time, I think as a community, as a family, we all have to just bond together and be there for each other. And we'll get through it. We'll get through this just like we've gotten through other things. So I would say we're making it through because Tony's sane. I don't know that I'm helping him get through it, maybe, but
Well, it's really special when we have people in our life that kind of complement our skills, but also, sometimes challenge us with our thinking. And I think part of we're looking, in the country, we're looking for leadership. People would like answers. They would like to, say, are we going to know on this date that certainty that we're all going to be safe, when the reality of, the virus just completely disappearing in a week or 2 weeks or months is from all science standpoint, not going to happen. At some point we're going to have to go out and face the fears of the reality of living. How can we help people have that courage? Because at some point, we are going to have to go out and face the world again. Any advice about that?
The thing that we have to remember is that, we experience stuff throughout our whole lives, ups and downs, and we can't look at our current situation as the end all be all. For us, I'm a pastor and stuff in the church. One of the things that I've been trying to speak about with that whole situation is that we have to look to tomorrow. We can't continue to look into today, and as entrepreneurs, that's how we live our life. You don't build a business for right here now. You build a business for tomorrow. You're looking to, okay, what is our aim? What is our goal here? And if you live your life with that same, prospect, that I'm doing what I'm doing right now for tomorrow, it kind of bleeds over into everything else and those around you. But and that comes from that Christian background, is I know that no matter what happens today, that God's got tomorrow. And that gives me hope. That gives me, because, I don't live for here. I live, for tomorrow, and the hope that's in that. But with looking forward, we can also look backwards, and in my life, I've been through much worse than this. I've been in the military, in foster care. I've been, so I don't let the fear of what could be keep me from experiencing what the hopes and the dreams and the joys that this life still has. Because one of my favorite authors, C.S. Lewis, he was talking about war back during World War I. He said the difference is that war doesn't make death more. It just makes it more prevalent. It's something that you're more aware of. And it's the fear that could grip you. But knowing that, one day we're all going to have to face that music. And are you going to live with that fear that it's going to happen now? Because at the end of the day, if it's my time and it's my time, you can let that fear control you, or you can look into the eyes of your kids, into those people around you, into those relationships, and you can see the joy and the hope and the promise that's there. And know that no matter what happens, there is still something to look forward to. And this whole virus situation, there's so many unknowns, and I think the fear of the unknown has far superseded of the fear of the reality in it. People, one of the things that we need to stop doing, and this is something that we're guilty of, is like the first thing we were doing is we're binge watching all these movies that deal with these sorts of situations, and it's like, oh my gosh, this is what's happening. It probably will not get to the point of some of these movies, and we need to, kind of bring ourselves down to reality. Be conscious of what we're doing, be respectful of others, and we'll make it through this. Next year this time we're just like, hey, you remember that time we were all cooped up in our houses for like a month and a half? But I'm always looking to tomorrow, and that's what gives me hope and direction in this whole thing, because I know one day it might seem bad now, but one day it will be better. One day we will be outside, we'll be laughing, we'll be hanging out in movie theaters, we'll be enjoying, restaurants again in the restaurant.
Be glorious.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Well, I appreciate that message. Looking forward to tomorrow. And I think one thing that I respect about you guys is the way that the lens that you use in looking through life. And just pivoting a little bit, Kandalyn, I know that photography has been something that has been really near and dear to you. And can you tell me why did you become a photographer, and why did you start your business?
Well, it's kind of interesting you say that, because I always wanted to be a photographer. When I was younger, I was obsessed with, those cameras that you wind, what are those, throwaway cameras or whatever?
Yeah. Sure.
I literally have so many pictures of the dumbest things from my childhood, because that was what I would save up money for. And when I graduated from high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. I felt like, my parents were very pick a reason to go to college. It's going to be a good career. So I started school to be a teacher, and, that was a good job for a mom or whatever. I think it was my sophomore year. I was like, well, I cannot be a teacher because I just don't like to be tied down. I'm a free spirit, I cannot sit in the classroom and have somebody else tell me the rules. I'm a rebel without a cause. So I always wanted to pursue photography, but I had been told by so many people older than me that was not a good career path. And so I didn't do it. And so when I was in college, I started as a teacher, changed my major multiple times, and finally graduated with an English degree, because I just had to graduate with something, which was probably a worse choice than even photography, but hey, what can you do? So I graduated, did not know what to do with my life. And I was working in higher education. We had struggled with infertility and miscarriage, and finally I was pregnant with my daughter Dahlia, and I was working in Columbus and driving an hour back and forth more on the winter time. And when I finally got pregnant with her, I just didn't want to be gone 11 to 13 hours a day. And, Tony at that time, what were you doing? Oh, he was a youth pastor and working construction for my dad. And I just kept saying, like, I just wanted, like, I wish I had that, like, desire in my heart to be a photographer, but like, I felt like nobody had really believed in me to do that. And so my husband, it was my birthday. He was like, I'm going to get you a camera for your birthday, because I know that's what you want to do. And so got me my first camera, and I really practiced while I was pregnant with Dahlia. I did free sessions at that time, just practicing on people and practicing and trying to learn how to edit. And when I had Dahlia, I quit my job, and I knew I had like so much time to start making money before the savings would be gone. And, Tony believed in me every step of the way. And so I also did some, people always talk bad about MLMs, but hey, got us through at that time. I was a Beachbody coach, and they actually taught me a ton about marketing on social media. And so through that, and I did kind of both while I was growing my photography business. And I was like ready to get that next, it's a stepping stone for photographers, because you start off with just like this one little camera, and then you've got to, like, if you want, you got to either go all in or whatever, and so like, then we got the next step, better camera, and then I started charging for pictures, and it was just kind of a side thing, really just learning what I liked, what I wanted to do with it. And then it was, what was it, January of 2 years ago?
Dude, I
can't
haven't had
remember.
much sleep. I don't remember.
Yeah, we got a newborn. It was like January of 2 years ago. Tony, we just sat down. It was the beginning of the new year, and Tony's like, I think you have to choose. Like, do you want to go all in photography or all in Beachbody? But you're struggling with both. I was literally like, I just felt like I was like running into too many directions. We had more kids. They just kept,
They just kept showing up out of the
coming
woodwork,
out of nowhere. Yeah. And so I just sat down with him, and I was like, I don't know. And he was like, well, what makes your heart come alive? And I was like, well, photography. And, everybody kept telling me, like, photography will never make any money. It's oversaturated, blah, blah, blah. But one of the things I have in my life is I have Tony who believes 100% in me. He's like, if you want to do it, do it. And so at that time, I was using actually the back of my dad's office as a studio, and it just wasn't working very well. We needed better heating, we needed better lighting, just a bunch of things. And so that's actually when we ended up getting the studio downtown. I remember I was talking to Matt first, and I was like trying to tell him what I needed, and he's like, well, we got this this one place, nothing's done with it yet, but maybe it has potential. And I walked in and saw these giant windows. And I really think that taking that leap of faith to get that studio was huge for me, because even though I don't do all my sessions indoors, it gave me that opportunity to be able to, and to grow that side of my business. And then last July is when Tony joined me full time as well. He'd already been doing he's so good at, website design and all the like techie things that I'm terrible at. So he'd already been doing that and second shooting weddings with me. And we'd gotten to the point where it's like, we're growing. We either like, we're going to hire somebody else. And obviously I trust him the best. He knows me the best. He knows my style. It was funny trying to teach him how to edit like I do. And because you have to have that cohesion. Like if I deliver a gallery of pictures, I want them to not know who edited it. I don't want them to be like, right. Oh, Tony edit or Kandalyn did, So just learning that cohesive was pretty exciting. And he's ridiculously smart. So he was like, I'm afraid you're just going to be mad that I'm going to like learn it really fast. Like,
so can I ask having the first off, needing people that believe in us, I think that's such an important thing. If you hear most small businesses or entrepreneurs origin story, it was that there was someone in their life that was their advocate. And the other thing is kind of going against the grain when a lot of people say, oh, there's no way you can make money being a photographer, it's way too saturated. That's another kind of really key point that I hear amongst a lot of people that power through and are successful. But the one I'm interested here is actually from Tony. So Tony, you were you're a pastor, you were working, I believe, in construction, and then to jump to photography. Like when you shared that with your friends and your peers, How did that go over? Were they supportive of that decision?
Well, it was kind of a unique situation because I've always liked art, the art side of things, and I grew up I love drawing and painting and all that, and so I've always enjoyed art, and I've always liked to take pictures of things, but never really thought of photography as like a career choice. It was never anything that ever came up because I don't know. But
Crying baby.
yeah, more crying babies. I had found myself last July. It was in the middle of summer. Kandalyn was working like 100 hours a week doing photography. I was working 60, 70 hours at a summer camp a week doing all the maintenance and building stuff. And we were running, 300-400 kids every week. So I'm on call all the time. And my oldest, my daughter started school this year. And so there was things put before me. If our summers are going to be the busiest time of year for both of our jobs away from each other, what kind of summers are our kids going to have, and for me, I've always been able to kind of step back and like assess the situation and see, okay, what road leads to where I want to go. And I got to the point of, you know what, I'm already helping my wife. I could ease some of her stress a lot more by taking on more of her load with that. I like photography. It's fun. And that gives me an outlet for my creative side. That makes sense. The only thing that really was a kind of a hurdle to get over was we were stepping away from a traditional paycheck and getting more into the family business sort of thing. Like, we're in this together. It isn't just you're taking the gamble. Now we're all taking the gamble on this. Mm-hmm. But I know the determination that my wife has, it like she can squeeze mud into money if she has to. Like, she's just that determined. And I know that she has pushed me into that area a lot more because I'm way more laid back and not as, emergency, even on things that I probably should see as an emergency. And she's kind of pushed me into that. And so she's challenged me and grew me in that area as well. And, at the end of the day, I was just like, you know what? This checks all the boxes of where I want to be years from now. So it only makes sense for me to, come alongside my wife and do this with her in the trenches with her. And I really didn't receive any like, what are you doing comments. Like,
I think the hardest thing was getting people to realize that Tony already knew how to take pictures.
Yeah, getting people to
trust him to do it.
When we were scheduling sessions, at first after July and stuff, when we announced that I'm full time with, it's just Kandalyn and Tony Green Photography. It's both of us now. They're like, well, I don't really trust Tony as much as I trust you because Kandalyn's the face of the company. It's been her. She's the one doing it. But I've been, low key in the background, holding up all the plates as they're spinning. I'm the guy holding the sticks. She's spinning the plates, but I'm setting the sticks up.
But I had already taught him like our camera. At that time, like we have several of the same exact camera. So I already taught him all that. He did all of my pictures and all my pictures with the kids for all of our marketing for years. He had already second shot, weddings with me. And, even though he didn't necessarily know how to edit to make it look exactly like I edit, he already knew how to edit because he does all of our graphic design for church. So it's like, I didn't really have to, I don't feel like I really actually taught you much after.
You just had to show me, what is your lighting preferences? What is your temperature preferences? And then once you get that down, and it goes pretty quickly. But I think now everyone just kind of understands.
Yeah, I don't think it's an issue now.
Yeah,
he took over. I remember the first guys, because he's taken over all the guy seniors now. I just do the girls, and the first one we did together. Was a boy I had done, his older brother. So the mom was just like, she didn't act necessarily cautious, just kind of like, are you not going to be there? I was like, no, I'll be there, but I'm going to be there just to I'll take a couple pictures, then I'm going to let Tony run with it so you can kind of just see that he knows what he's doing. And so I think I probably took 5 in the beginning, and then Tony just took over, and the guys were just having fun, and I'm just talking to the mom, and she's like, he knows what he's doing, doesn't he? I'm like, yeah. And then there was I think there was one other guy senior who, it was kind of the same thing. I had done their family pictures before, so she really only knew me. And so we kind of split it half and half. I did part of it and he did part of it. But I mean, I don't think people realize that even though I do still shoot more, like I take more pictures than he does still, because obviously like the whole boudoir side of my business, he can't do any of that. So he edits, I would say 75% of the other work that's not boudoir.
A lot of the weddings.
He does pretty much all
I'll
weddings.
do a lot of the editing on
Families.
Can I ask a question about weddings? You know, that's something right now, I imagine your industry with, you know, events being canceled, and also, you know, some uncertainty about when events will be kicking back up. Like, what are you doing right now to, when that brighter day is ahead and those events and those weddings start getting scheduled again, what are you doing to prepare your business and kind of, you know, making sure that you're still growing and marketing and all that stuff right now?
It's funny you say that because, yeah, we had a wedding. Well, we had 2 weddings in April cancel. One of them was in Cancun. So obviously with travel, that one was getting canceled. The other one was in Columbus. And so for some of those brides, they are able to reschedule their weddings. One of our brides was like, I'm just too down right now. I don't even want to think about it. So we had to refund her, you know, which was pretty sad because right now, obviously our income has gone down. But for myself, a couple of the things we're doing marketing wise is, or I should say like to reach our clients, not for myself necessarily. I run most of our like marketing side of things, is I did, or I still technically am doing like a photo challenge on our page. And for Instagram, it's a little different because for pictures, you can post past pictures anyways, and it's not weird. So usually I'll try and like make my grid. So it's like, here's a wedding picture, here's a senior, here's a family, you know, just so it's like, so I'm still able to market for those types of things. But just really the biggest concern that I have for our business is that people will stop looking at our page. That's part of the thing. We usually have, you know, 5 to 20 sessions a week, realistically, depending on the season. And so that's a lot of people seeing our page all the time. And so when sessions aren't happening, there's not really going to be a lot going on. So I have a couple people that I haven't shared their sneak peeks yet. I send it to them personally, but I haven't put it on my page yet so that I could kind of time lapse it to kind of spread out those sneak peeks to keep that excitement going. Again, we're doing the best we can. I learned how to edit a new way to make them look like watercolors, which is I'm like so excited about. And so another thing, it took me forever to learn, and then I showed Tony. He's like, boom. But so that's something else we offered. You know, you can buy a canvas with that on it. It's just something else to keep people excited and looking at our page, and quite honestly, to keep people's spirits up. Because if you look through Facebook right now, it is literally people yelling at you, stay home, don't leave your house, you're the reason this is bad. And then the next person's like, I'm gonna go bankrupt, the world is over, you know. And it's just like, oh my gosh, I'm like, please.
It's a lot.
Yeah, so it's like just something exciting to put on social media that makes people like, oh, it's a pretty picture, yay.
Yeah, well, and actually maybe sharing some inspiration and positivity. Like I think through every crisis, this is when, you know, really amazing stories and people and heroes start to come out. Are there things that you're seeing that are really kind of just things to really kind of shout out, or that you're appreciative for, or like, you know, when the fog does lift, that you're just really excited to get things open back up and appreciate life, like all the freedoms, all the joys, all the experiences that we had?
There's a couple things that people have done that have really, really touched my heart, that have just shown me that they really care about our business and our lives. Right when we found out we were having a new foster baby, it was right before the whole thing happened. And I'm like, praise the Lord, she was born the week she was, because people sent us enough formula, diapers, and wipes to last us for at least 2 months.
A week before everything kind of started getting sold out. And so we missed the curve, like literally we missed it by a week. And people were just flooding us with like, we've got baby diapers, we've got enough formula for several months if we have to. Yeah. We have wipes, all the essentials that we need. So we've been really blessed by our community of people that have supported us in our journey. And it's so cool because a lot of the people that have been supporting us are people that we've met through the photography. Not just church people or our friends that we've already known from previously.
And then also there's a couple other things. There's a bride that she's supposed to get married in June. And she just sent me a message and was like, I don't know how you're doing financially. She's like, but if you need me to pay you in full now for the wedding, I can, just to keep your business afloat and your family afloat. And I thought that was super, super sweet because she didn't have to necessarily do that. And then there have been a few other people that I know bought canvases just because they were trying to support us and love us. And they, one of the girls, I've done her pictures, and she did a best friend shoot, it was just, I don't know, like October or something. And she ordered a canvas, and I know, like, how long are you going to hang up a canvas of you and your best friend? I don't know. But I just know that she did it just to be that extra support, And so it's been kind of beautiful to just see our community come together. And I've seen it everywhere. I mean, somebody bought us a gift card to restaurants, and, and just talking to some of the other business owners, hearing that, our community is really trying. We try to get something little from every single little, like, small business around. And I know it's not just us. I've seen so many other people doing it too. So that's what gives me hope about this thing, is especially in Bell Fountain, we've created this pride for our town and this love for our town that I think is going to see us through the hard times. So.
Well, I appreciate that, and I completely agree. I think when I think of all the different people that are doing these incredible things and just the heart behind everything. I mean, we left a few weeks ago. I think just being so much energy, so much courage, like really excited about one of the best years ahead. And then we got the difficult news of this virus and everything that people are dealing with. But we're going to come out from this, and we're going to come out strong. But it's going to take everyone. There's not a business, there's not a person, there's not an organization that is not being impacted by this. Right. We are just going to have to be those people that come together and solve problems, and also figure out how to innovate what we were doing, how we innovate it and do it better.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Well, we're actually coming up kind of on the end of our time here, but, what I want to just ask a question for those that are watching or listening today, what is something that you just want them to know that kind of get them through this period that we can just leave them with today?
There you go.
We're gonna make it through.
Yeah.
This is an opportunity that we have to slow down, and sometimes, as if you're an entrepreneur, if you have a small business owner, sometimes it takes a pandemic to make us stop, look around you, see your support system, and look at, just be thankful for where you're at, and that we will make it through this together.
Right. I think also, especially as for the other entrepreneurs, is because we have the time to really sit and rethink how we do things. There's things we can do better and be better at that maybe it's been put on the back burner because we just haven't had time to focus on it or figure it out. But now's kind of that time that we can, and even going through just calculating the numbers, where are we making money, where are we not making money, where are we losing money, those types of things that can really like tighten in our business to make them stronger and better, and to really even research some of those things. I'm absolutely not excited about the virus, but I am excited about the momentum that I think our town is going to come out with after this. Right now it feels like we're on this like slow motion, and especially for entrepreneurs where things are slow, you're like freaking out, but I think that this is just going to be like this, and then it's just going to right up as soon as we get out of this, and we stay together, we stay strong, we stay positive. The last thing we need, and you talked a little bit earlier about mental health. The last thing we need is for people to be trapped in their houses. Woe is me. He said, get out, take a walk, listen to listening to positive things right now, positive books. I think we're going to all come out of this stronger than ever before. We just got to keep our eyes on that prize.
Kandalyn, Tony, appreciate you taking the time. I know how much is going on right now, and I imagine the kids are about out of raisins, so I hope you've got more
I hope
tools,
they picked them up.
more tools. But no, I'm so thankful and looking forward to building that better tomorrow with you guys. And just can't thank you enough for sharing today and the message that you're leaving everyone with. So you guys are awesome.
Thanks.
Thanks so much.